The planet Zithara was a place of harsh storms and endless skies. Its red desert stretched far and wide, broken only by tall, twisted towers made of strange crystal. On this distant world, a young girl named Aerolith lived among her people, the Zithari. They were strong, proud, and ruled by a queen with wisdom that spanned generations. But Aerolith was not yet queen. She was only a child, curious and brave, with eyes full of wonder. She loved exploring the rocky canyons and listening to the stories told by the elders. Yet the galaxy was not peaceful, and danger often lurked nearby. One day, when Aerolith was very young, her life changed forever. The sun was just rising, painting the sky in soft pink and gold. Aerolith wandered near the edge of the crystal forests, chasing small glowing insects. She was far from the safety of her village, too lost in her play to notice the approaching threat. Suddenly the ground trembled. Aerolith froze as a group of hostile creatures appeared, large, with sharp claws and eyes like burning coals. They moved quickly, surrounding the child. Fear gripped her heart, but before the attackers could strike, a strange figure appeared. He was human, a man with tired eyes but steady hands. His name was Alex Mercer. Alex had been traveling through the galaxy as part of a peace mission. He never expected to find a young alien child in danger on this remote planet. Without hesitation, he stepped between Aerolith and the creatures, holding a small shining device that sent out a bright pulse. The creatures hissed and scattered into the shadows. Aerolith looked up at Alex, her eyes wide with surprise and gratitude. She did not understand his language, but she felt a deep kindness in his presence. For a moment they simply stared at each other, the child and the stranger who saved her. Then Alex smiled gently and nodded. "You're safe now," he said. Years passed. Aerolith grew strong and wise. She learned to lead her people, and the day came when she became the queen of the Zithari. She never forgot the human who saved her life, even though she only knew his name from that brief encounter. Their galaxy, however, had changed. Threats grew larger and more dangerous. Many alien worlds were preparing for war. In the middle of it all, Aerolith's thoughts returned to that human, the one who had shown her kindness when she was small. She knew she had to find him. Meanwhile, far away on Earth, Alex Mercer lived a quiet life. His days as a space traveler were behind him. Now he worked as a teacher, sharing stories of the stars with children who dreamed of adventure. But something was missing. Sometimes, Alex felt a strange pull in his heart, a memory he could not fully explain. He often thought of the little alien girl, but he never expected to hear from her again. That was about to change. One quiet evening, as Alex prepared to leave school, a message arrived on his screen. It was written in a language he did not understand. The message shimmered and shifted until it changed into perfect English. "Captain Alex Mercer, you saved a life once. Now the galaxy needs your courage again. Meet me on Zithara. Queen Aerolith." Alex blinked, stunned. He rubbed his eyes and read the message again. Could this be real? After all these years, he felt the same warmth he remembered from that distant day, and a new sense of purpose filled him. Back on Zithara, Queen Aerolith stood on the balcony of her palace, gazing at the stars. The air was filled with soft hums of crystal energy, and the twin moons cast a gentle light over the city. She thought about the journey ahead, the meeting with the human who once saved her life. It was a bold move. Many in her council warned her it was dangerous. The galaxy was unstable, and trust was rare between species. But Aerolith believed in something more powerful than fear or doubt. She believed in the bond formed by a simple act of kindness. As the stars shifted, the future of two worlds quietly began to change. Aerolith's memory of that day remained vivid. She recalled how Alex had not hesitated, how his calm voice had soothed her fear. That moment was small, but it had changed the path of her life, and perhaps the path of the galaxy. Now, as queen, she prepared to take a great risk. The reunion could bring hope or ignite old conflicts, but Aerolith was ready. In a quiet room on Earth, Alex stared at the message glowing on his screen. His fingers trembled as he typed a reply. "I will come." With that simple sentence, the adventure was about to begin. Alex Mercer sat in his small, cluttered apartment on Earth, staring at the glowing message on his screen. It was strange and unexpected. Queen Aerolith of Zithara, the alien child he once saved, had found him again. She wanted to meet him. The thought seemed almost like a dream. He had been a space traveler many years ago, a captain on missions that aimed to bring peace across the stars. Now his life was quiet. He taught children about space, planets, and the hope of exploring new worlds. Yet deep inside, he still felt the call of adventure. The message was simple but powerful. "Captain, Alex Mercer, you saved a life once. Now the galaxy needs your courage again. Meet me on Zithara." Alex's fingers hovered over the keyboard. Was it really safe? Could this be a trick? Or worse, a trap? He remembered the moment he saved Aerolith, the young alien girl, so many years ago. She had been scared and alone, and he had only acted out of instinct. But now, to hear from her as the queen of her people, it stirred something deep inside him. It was impossible to ignore. The next day, Alex told his closest friends about the message. Some were excited for him, while others warned him to be careful. Space was full of dangers, and politics between species were complicated. But Alex knew he had to go. He began preparing for the journey. His old starship, the Endeavor, had been docked for years in a nearby spaceport. Alex visited the hangar, inspecting the ship with a mixture of nostalgia and determination. The Endeavor had carried him across galaxies before, through storms of meteor dust and battles of light. It was old, but reliable. He gathered a small crew, trusted, friends who believed in the mission. Among them were Lana, an expert pilot, and Dr. Amir, a scientist who specialized in alien biology. They were curious, brave, and ready for the unknown. As the ship prepared to leave, the news of the Queen's message began to spread quietly through human space stations. The idea of a human and an alien queen reconnecting sparked both hope and suspicion. Some governments worried that the meeting might cause trouble. Others hoped it could be the start of peace between humanity and alien civilizations. But for Alex and his crew, the journey was personal. It was about an old promise, a debt of kindness, and the possibility of something greater. During the trip, Alex spent many hours in the ship's small cabin, thinking about the past. He remembered the red deserts of Zithara, the shimmering crystal, towers, and the frightened girl who had looked up at him with trust. Back then, Alex had no idea who she was or what she would become. Now he wondered what kind of queen she had grown into. He hoped she still remembered him. Meanwhile, on Zithara, Queen Aerolith faced her own challenges. Her decision to contact a human had not been easy. Her council was divided. Some elders warned her that humans were unpredictable and could bring danger. Others argued that past kindness should not be forgotten. But Aerolith believed that trust could change the future. She sent messages to her advisors ordering them to prepare for Alex's arrival with respect and honor. The palace halls buzzed with activity as diplomats and guards made plans. The Queen's people watched with curiosity and hope. Aerolith stood in the palace garden, looking at the two moons hanging low in the sky. Her heart was heavy with expectation and worry. Would the reunion be peaceful? Would it bring war or friendship? She reminded herself of the day Alex saved her, the warmth of his hand, the light that chased away her fear. That memory gave her courage. Back on the Endeavor, the crew faced unexpected challenges as they traveled through the strange regions of space near Zithara. Navigation was difficult. Sensors picked up strange signals and unknown ships shadowed them at a distance. One night, Lana, the pilot, spotted a small vessel approaching fast. "Unknown ship on intercept course," she said calmly. No response to hails. Alex ordered the crew to prepare for defense but hoped the approaching ship meant no harm. When the vessel came alongside, it was a scout from the Zithari, sent by Aerolith to ensure Alex's safety. The scouts, Captain greeted Alex with respect. Queen Aerolith awaits you. The path ahead is dangerous, but your arrival is welcome. Relieved, Alex replied. Thank you. We come with hope. As they entered Zithara's atmosphere, Alex looked down on the red deserts and crystal forests below. The planet was beautiful and strange, full of secrets. The Endeavor landed softly near the capital city. The crew disembarked to find the palace awaiting them, an enormous structure of shining crystal, glowing softly under the twin moons. Alex's heart beat faster. This moment was more than a meeting. It was a bridge between two worlds. That night, Alex was led through the palace halls to a grand chamber. The walls sparkled with light and the air was filled with soft music played by Zithari musicians. When the doors opened, Aerolith stood before him. She was no longer the small child he remembered. She was tall, strong, and regal, wearing a simple but elegant robe that shimmered like the stars. Their eyes met, and for a moment, time seemed to stop. Alex saw the same kindness he once knew in her gaze. Aerolith smiled gently. You saved me once, she said softly. Now I ask you to help save many. Alex nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. The reunion was only the beginning. The Endeavor hummed quietly as it sped through the vast emptiness of space. Captain Alex Mercer sat in the command chair, eyes fixed on the stars ahead. The journey to Zithara was longer than he had expected, but every mile brought him closer to a meeting he never thought would happen. Beside him, Lana adjusted the ship's controls with practiced ease. We're entering Zithari space, she said, glancing at the screen, sensors picking up unusual energy readings near the planet's surface. Alex nodded. Keep us steady. We don't want to alarm anyone before we land. Inside the ship's common room, Dr. Amir studied the data streaming from the scanners. This energy signature is unlike anything I've seen, he said, eyes wide. It's beautiful, but powerful. Alex leaned over the screen. Could it be some kind of defense system? Possibly, Amir replied. Or maybe a technology connected to their crystals. The Zithari have always had a close bond with their planet. Alex thought back to the last time he was on Zithara, years ago. He had been younger then, less sure of himself. The memory of saving a small, frightened girl from danger stayed with him, though he hadn't realized how important she would become. Now, as he approached her homeworld again, the weight of that moment pressed on his mind. He wondered how much. Aerolith had changed. Would she remember him? Would she trust him? The crew prepared for landing. Outside, Zithara's red desert stretched beneath them, interrupted by tall towers of shimmering crystal. The twin moons hung low, casting soft light on the landscape. As the ship touched down gently near the capital city, Alex felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. The palace awaited them, a grand structure made of clear, glowing crystals that reflected the light in every direction. Guards in elegant armor stood silently by the gates. The air buzzed softly with the hum of alien energy. Aerolith's message had reached many across the planet, and curiosity mixed with caution filled the hearts of her people. A human, long gone from their world, had returned. Alex and his crew were led through winding corridors filled with strange plants and glowing symbols. The palace was alive with colors and sounds that seemed almost magical. At last, they reached a large chamber where Aerolith stood waiting. Her presence was commanding, but warm. Her eyes, sharp and kind, locked onto Alex's. You have come, she said simply. Alex stepped forward. I promised I would. As they talked, Aerolith shared her vision for her people and the galaxy. Our world is strong, but danger grows beyond our borders. The galaxy is on the edge of war. I need allies, friends who understand that peace is worth fighting for. Alex listened carefully. I want to help. Your message. It reached me because it mattered. Because you mattered. Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden alert. The palace's sensors detected movement outside, a fleet of unknown ships approaching fast. Aerolith's face hardened. They are the Drakari, she said, a hostile group that opposes any alliance with humans. Alex clenched his jaw. We need to act quickly. The Drakari fleet was known for its aggression. They feared change and power shared between different species. Their arrival threatened to undo the fragile hope Aerolith and Alex had begun to build. As alarms blared, the palace sprang into action. The Zithari warriors prepared their defenses, and Alex called his crew to stations. Alex and Aerolith stood, side by side on the palace balcony, watching the Drakari ships darken the sky. "We have faced danger before," Alex said. "Together we can face this too." Aerolith nodded. "Our peoples must unite, not just for survival but for a future where kindness wins." The battle that followed was fierce. Zithari crystal weapons and human technology combined in unexpected ways. The Endeavor maneuvered through enemy fire, protecting the palace from attack. Alex's crew worked with the Zithari fighters, sharing tactics and courage. Despite the fear, hope shone brighter than the weapon's blasts. In the heart of the fight, Alex found himself defending a group of Zithari children who had taken shelter near the palace. He recalled the little girl he once saved, the same age as these children. His actions were swift and sure. He led them to safety, a smile touching his lips despite the chaos. As the Drakari retreated, defeated but not destroyed, Aerolith turned to Alex. "You were right. Peace is worth fighting for." Alex smiled back. "It always is." After the battle, the two leaders met with their closest advisors to plan the next steps. They knew the Drakari would return, stronger and more determined. But something had changed. The bond between human and Zithari was no longer a secret or a memory. It was a living force, a symbol of hope for many. Alex spent the night in the palace looking out at the stars. He thought about the journey ahead, how the galaxy might change because two people had dared to believe in something better. He wondered what Aerolith's people thought of him now. Was he still the stranger who had saved a child? Or was he something more, a friend, a protector, a symbol? For Aerolith, the night was quiet but full of promise. She walked through her gardens, touching the glowing crystals and feeling the strength of her planet beneath her feet. She thought about Alex, the human who had come back into her life. She was no longer the frightened child, but the bond between them was the same. The galaxy was watching and a new story was beginning. The great hall of the Zithari palace was filled with light. Crystal chandeliers hung from the high ceilings, casting rainbows across the polished floor. The air buzzed softly with the quiet hum of energy flowing through the walls. It was a place of power, history, and hope. Queen Aerolith stood at the center of the hall, dressed in a robe woven from shimmering threads that reflected the colors of the twin moons outside. Her presence was calm but strong, a leader shaped by years of challenges and dreams for peace. Today was important, not only for her, but for the fate of her people and the galaxy beyond. Alex Mercer stepped into the hall, his footsteps echoing on the marble floor. He wore a simple uniform, but the weight of his journey showed in his eyes. He had traveled across countless stars to reach this moment. Their eyes met across the room. For a moment, everything else faded. The child he had once saved stood before him, not small and scared anymore, but tall and powerful. Yet in her gaze, Alex still saw the same spark of kindness that had drawn him so long ago. The room fell silent as Aerolith raised her hand in greeting. "Captain Mercer," she said, her voice steady. "You have returned." Alex bowed his head slightly. "Your Majesty." There was respect between them, deep and genuine. Around them, the council of Zithari elders and human diplomats waited. Some wore expressions of hope, others of skepticism. The tension was real. Many did not understand why a human would answer the call of an alien queen, especially one whose people had been wary of outsiders for centuries. Aerolith addressed the assembly. "We stand at a crossroads. Our world faces threats from forces that seek to divide us. It is time for unity, for trust between our peoples." A murmur rose from the crowd. Some nodded, but others exchanged doubtful looks. Alex stepped forward. "I come not only because I once saved a life, but because I believe in what we can build together. Our strength lies in cooperation, in kindness." Aerolith motioned for the guards to open the large crystal doors. Outside, the palace gardens bloomed under the light of the moons. The scene was peaceful, but the galaxy was anything but. She turned to Alex. I want you to see my world, not just as a visitor, but as a friend. Together they walked through the gardens. The air was cool and fragrant, filled with the soft glow of plants that shimmered in colors unknown to Earth. As they walked, Aerolith shared stories of her people's history, their struggles, their triumphs, and their dreams for a peaceful future. She spoke of the great wars that had shaped the galaxy and the dangers that still threatened. Alex listened carefully, understanding more about the depth of the challenge ahead. We are not so different, Aerolith said. Both our peoples have faced fear, loss, and hope. That is why we must stand together. Alex nodded. I agree, but trust takes time, and there will be those who want to stop us. Their peaceful moment was interrupted by a sudden alert from the palace security. The council chamber buzzed with urgent news. A group of Zithari traditionalists opposed to the human alliance had gathered outside, demanding the queen reconsider. Aerolith's eyes hardened. They fear change, she said, but I will not let fear control us. Alex placed a hand on her shoulder. You are not alone. We face this together. Outside the palace, the crowd murmured louder. Signs called for the queen to protect their people from outsiders. The tension was thick, but guards held the crowd back with calm strength. Aerolith stepped onto the balcony, her voice clear and strong. People of Zithara, I understand your fears. But the future belongs to those who embrace change and hope. The human who stands with me is a friend, not a threat. She turned to Alex and spoke louder so all could hear. This man saved my life once. He represents the kindness and courage that can unite us all. A moment of silence fell over the crowd. Then slowly, some began to nod. Others still looked doubtful, but the queen's words had planted a seed. Back inside, Alex and Aerolith returned to the council chamber. They knew this was only the beginning. The real work of building trust and friendship was just starting. Later, in a quiet room of the palace, Alex and Aerolith sat together, reviewing plans for the future. We need to reach out beyond this palace, Aerolith said. Our people must see what cooperation can achieve, Alex agreed. And we need to prepare for the threats still coming. The Drakari will not give up easily. Aerolith's face grew serious. Then we must be ready. Not just with weapons, but with unity. Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. The journey that had started with a small act of kindness was becoming something much greater, a chance to change the course of history. He looked at Aerolith and saw not just a queen, but a partner in hope. Together they would face the future, no matter what challenges lay ahead. The calm after the queen's speech did not last long. Just days after the hopeful meeting between Aerolith and Alex, news arrived that shook the palace and the entire planet of Zithara. A powerful enemy fleet had been spotted moving toward their system. The Drakari, the fierce warriors who opposed peace between species, were returning. This time their forces were larger, stronger, and more determined to crush any alliance between humans and Zithari. In the palace war room, glowing star maps lit up the dark walls. Aerolith stood at the center, her face set with determination. Around her, generals and advisors discussed battle plans and strategies. Alex stood nearby studying the maps. Though he was a human, he felt a deep connection to this world and its people. The bond formed from their reunion was stronger than any fear. We must defend Zithara, Aerolith said firmly. But we cannot fight alone. Humanity and Zithari must stand together. Alex nodded. Our forces can combine technology and tactics. We'll make them see that unity is stronger than hate. Preparations began immediately. The Zithari warriors trained alongside human soldiers brought in by Alex's crew. They shared knowledge and tactics, learning to work as one team. Alex admired the Zithari fighters. They were fierce and skilled, but also wise in their use of the planet's unique crystal technology. These crystals could focus energy and create powerful shields or weapons. Lana, the Endeavor's pilot, worked with Zithari engineers to improve the ship's systems. Dr. Amir studied the crystals to find new ways to protect their people. Outside the palace, Aerolith visited the people of Zithara. She spoke with families, soldiers, and leaders, encouraging them to stand strong and united. The people looked to their queen for hope. Many remembered the old wars and feared the Drakari's return. But Aerolith's calm courage inspired them. "Together we will survive," she told them. "Together, we will protect our future." The day of battle arrived quickly. The sky above, Zithara darkened with Drakari warships, their engines roaring like thunder. The ground shook as fighters prepared for the attack. Alex stood on the bridge of the Endeavor, his crew ready for battle. Beside him, Aerolith commanded the Zithari fleet, her voice steady and strong through the communication system. "Hold your positions," she ordered. "Defend our home." The Drakari struck hard and fast. Energy beams flashed across the sky as ships clashed. Explosions lit the battlefield and the air was thick with tension. Alex's ship dodged blasts and fired back with precision. Zithari crystal weapons shone brightly, cutting through enemy lines. Despite the chaos, Alex and Aerolith worked together, coordinating their forces with skill and calm. During the fight, Alex saw a group of Zithari children trapped in a small village under attack. Without hesitation, he led a rescue team to save them. The children were frightened, but Alex's steady presence gave them hope. As they escaped, he whispered, "You are safe now." He thought of the young Aerolith he once saved and felt a deep connection. The battle lasted for hours. Slowly, the combined forces of humans and Zithari began to turn the tide. The Drakari, surprised by the unity and strength of their enemies, started to retreat. Aerolith's voice rang out across the battlefield. "Hold the line. Victory is within reach." When the Drakari fleet finally pulled away, the people of Zithara cheered. Though the battle was won, the war was far from over. Alex and Aerolith stood together on the palace balcony, looking out at the stars. "We showed them what unity can do," Alex said. Aerolith nodded. "But we must remain strong. Our enemies will return." That night, as the planet rested, Aerolith and Alex met in the palace gardens. The air was cool, and the crystals glowed softly around them. "We have taken the first step," Aerolith said. "But peace is not just about winning battles. It is about trust, understanding, and courage." Alex smiled. "And about never forgetting the small acts that start it all." The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Together, humans and Zithari could face any challenge. The bond that began with a child's rescue had grown into a powerful force, one that could change the course of the galaxy. The battle against the Drakari had left its mark on Zithara, but it also brought something new: hope. The people of the planet began to see the power of unity, not just as a strategy in war, but as a way of life. Queen Aerolith and Captain Alex Mercer had become symbols of that hope. Their partnership was no longer just about a rescue from the past, but about a future they could build together. In the days that followed, Alex stayed in the palace, working closely with Aerolith and her advisors. They planned how to strengthen their alliance and prepare for what might come next. The palace buzzed with activity. Human engineers worked with Zithari crystal experts, sharing knowledge and ideas. Scientists and soldiers trained side by side, learning each other's ways. Alex admired the Zithari culture more every day. Their respect for nature, their deep connection to the planet's crystals, and their strong sense of community inspired him. One afternoon, Aerolith invited Alex to walk through the crystal gardens. The plants glowed softly, their colors shifting with the breeze. The air was filled with a gentle hum, a sound like the heartbeat of the planet itself. Aerolith smiled. "These crystals have been part of our people for thousands of years. They teach us balance and harmony." Alex touched a glowing leaf and felt a warmth spread through his fingers. "It's beautiful. There is so much we can learn from each other." Despite the peace, not all were happy with the growing friendship. Some Zithari elders whispered their doubts, fearing the influence of humans. Some humans, too, worried that Zithara's ways were too different and unpredictable. But Aerolith and Alex refused to let fear divide them. "We must listen to their fears," Aerolith said, "but not be controlled by them. Change is difficult, but necessary." Alex nodded. "Trust is built over time. We will show them the strength of unity." To build that trust, Alex suggested an idea: a shared festival where humans and Zithari could come together, celebrate their cultures and learn from one another. Aerolith agreed. The festival was planned to take place in the capital city's great square, under the light of the twin moons. The day of the festival arrived with clear skies and a gentle breeze. The square was decorated with ribbons, glowing crystals, and banners of both worlds. Humans and Zithari mingled, sharing food, music, and stories. Children from both species played together, their laughter echoing through the streets. Alex watched as Aerolith danced with her people, her smile bright and genuine. For a moment, the worries of war and politics faded. During the festival, Alex was approached by a young Zithari warrior named Kalen. He looked hesitant but respectful. "You have done much for our people," Kalen said, "but some still do not trust humans. How can we be sure this alliance will last?" Alex met his gaze. "Trust begins with actions. Every day we choose to stand together or apart. I believe in the choice we are making." Kalen nodded slowly. "I want to believe that too." As the festival continued, Aerolith and Alex shared their vision with the crowd. "Our future depends on our unity," Aerolith said. "We are stronger together than apart." The crowd cheered, and many hearts were touched. But even in this moment of joy, shadows remained. Reports arrived that the Drakari were gathering new forces, preparing for another attack. Aerolith and Alex faced this news with calm determination. "We will face them again," Aerolith said. "But this time we are not alone." Alex placed his hand on hers. "Together, we can protect this peace." That night, under the glowing moons, Alex and Aerolith stood on the palace balcony. The stars above seemed brighter, filled with possibility. "We have come far," Alex said quietly, "but there is still much to do." Aerolith nodded. "The bond between us is a beginning, a promise of what humanity and Zithari can achieve." Alex smiled. And it all started with a simple act of kindness. The galaxy watched as two worlds learned to trust each other. The path was not easy, but it was filled with hope. Together, Aerolith and Alex were ready to face whatever the future held. The grand hall of the Zithari palace was filled with an unusual energy that day. Diplomats, leaders, and representatives from many worlds had gathered. The moment was historic. A treaty between humans and Zithari was to be signed, a symbol of peace and cooperation after years of fear and conflict. Queen Aerolith stood at the front, her eyes shining with determination and hope. Beside her, Captain Alex Mercer stood tall, the man who once saved her life as a child and now stood as her closest ally. The room fell silent as Aerolith spoke. "Today, we mark the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter where our peoples choose friendship over fear, cooperation over conflict." Alex stepped forward. "This treaty is more than words on paper. It is a promise to work together, to protect each other, and to build a future where all species can thrive." As the leaders signed the treaty, cameras from many worlds recorded the moment. The story of their alliance spread quickly through the galaxy, inspiring others who had lost hope. Aerolith and Alex exchanged a glance. They knew the road ahead would not be easy, but this was a start. After the ceremony, the crowd moved outside to the palace gardens. The air was filled with music and laughter. Humans and Zithari celebrated side by side, sharing food, stories, and dreams. Alex watched as children from both species played together, their faces bright with joy. He thought about how far they had come, from a chance meeting years ago to this day of hope. Later, Aerolith and Alex walked through the gardens, the glowing crystals lighting their path. "Do you remember the day I saved you?" Alex asked with a smile. Aerolith laughed softly. How could I forget? It changed everything. Alex nodded. It was a small moment, but it led to something much bigger. Yes, Aerolith said. A bond that changed the fate of two worlds. Their peace was tested soon after the celebration. Reports came of small attacks from those still unwilling to accept the new alliance. But Aerolith and Alex faced these challenges together. They strengthened their defenses but also sent messages of peace, hoping to heal old wounds. One evening, as they watched the twin moons rise, Aerolith spoke quietly. The galaxy is vast, and many paths lie ahead. But with trust, we can walk them together. Alex smiled, feeling the weight of the past and the promise of the future. From a single act of kindness, we have built something that can last. Their story became a legend, not just of war or politics, but of courage, compassion, and the power of unity. It reminded all who heard it that even in the darkest times, a simple act of kindness could change everything. And so, the human and the alien queen stood together, symbols of a future forged in unity, hope, and peace. The stars shone brighter and the galaxy listened,